But see, the thing is you already know what to do. You already have the knowledge. You already know what needs to be done. So why is it not getting done? Why aren't you able to finish it and complete it? Why do you keep stopping, right? That's the question that has to be asked. And most of the time, people don't even know the answer. And it's really important that you do figure out that answer, because that's what's determining whether or not you succeed. And most of the time, or a lot of the time, I should say, it doesn't actually have anything to do with discipline or motivation or anything like that. It's something completely different, but you have to figure out what that is. And until you do so, you're kind of fucked, right? But it's not really a knowledge problem. You already know. You're just not doing it. So why? What's up, guys? Good morning. So I have been in this fucking season for quite a minute now of like just no fucking motivation whatsoever. I have not had any motivation to do really anything that I have to do. And I got a lot of shit to do every fucking day. So it's, it hasn't been very fun, but, on top of that, I've taken a bunch of client calls this week. I mean, I do every week, but this week it seems like everybody had the same theme, like the same theme as me of like, dude, motivation is fucking left the building, gone, goodbye. I don't want to fucking do this shit. Every day that I got to wake up early sucks. I don't want to fucking there's been so many recurring calls, where people are feeling that way. Right. And this is so fucking normal. This is so fucking natural. Everybody goes through this, right? Like, and that's why it's so important to remove motivation from the equation. We always talk about that, but it goes deeper than that, right? Because the other thing too is like, sometimes discipline won't even carry you through, because for me, like, luckily for me, I've been able to establish, for one, the pattern recognition of this time, right? Where, when I get in that place of zero motivation, where I kind of recognize that I'm like, oh, okay, I'm in a low of motivation right now. This is still what has to get done, so I have to get it done. But I've also established the discipline over the years, right? Through my personal development, through my physical fitness, that allows me to operate at all times in every area of my life, right? Because right now, pretty much what consumes me is business. The training is like, I've been training for so long, I've been doing this shit for so long that it's like, that's just part of my day now. And it's really something more that I enjoy at this point, and that's important to me to operate at the highest level. So I do it. It's not really difficult for me to get that done, my physical fitness, right? But right now, business consumes me, and I have so much that has to get done every fucking day. And so it's like, I have to make sure to get that done, right? So the discipline absolutely helps. But the problem is, most people miss this part, right? Because you could have motivation, you could have discipline, or you cannot have either of those. And either way, you can still continue going on if you understand why you're doing it. And this is where people lack, right? Because even the most disciplined person, because for me, a lot of my clientele, these guys are already monsters. They're already savages. They come in, they're fucking disciplined people, right? Whether that's they've built a business, or they've established a really good life for themselves, they've climbed in their careers, or they're already in really good shape. Like, a lot of the guys that I work with are already very fucking disciplined, but they haven't been able to carry out and finish their actual full journey, and achieve their full potential physically, mentally, emotionally, in their personal development journeys, right? So that's why they come to me. But the whole purpose I'm saying this, for one, is because thankfully I've established that for myself, where I can continue going on. Thankfully, my clients have me as that accountability factor to point out, for one, what's going on, two, to keep them pushing through and remind them of why we're doing this in the first place, right? But so many people miss this part. They think, oh, dude, I just need motivation. I need discipline. I'm not disciplined. That's not the issue, because like I said, even if you do have that discipline, if you're lacking this thing, then that discipline's not going to fucking help you. It's really just not. Because at some point it doesn't make sense to keep on going. So the whole purpose of this video is to try and point that out for you guys, right? And help you recognize that and establish how you need to move forward, even in the face of that, and how you actually need to operate in order to complete what it is that you want to complete, and push all the way through, right? But the thing that what I'm talking about, referring to, and fucking obviously just rambling on about, hang on, I got to take a drink of this fucking monster because now I'm just thirsty. We got Ultra Strawberry Dreams today. This one's all right. It's decent. I think I'm switching over to Form Energy completely, though. Anyways, the whole topic of this video is, look, everybody has the knowledge. Everybody knows what to do. Everybody knows what has to be done. Everybody fucking knows, right? So why is it, even though you have all the knowledge, why is it that you aren't able to finish what you're starting? Why haven't you been able to complete this yet? Why is this still a fucking issue for you? Even though you have discipline, right? Because you can look at other areas of your life. You're like, dude, I'm pretty fucking disciplined, right? And you know what to do when it comes to your personal development, your physical fitness and all that shit. Like, you already know what to do. So why haven't you been able to complete it? Most of the time, it's because you haven't tied what you're trying to accomplish to a deeper purpose. You're lacking purpose in that goal, right? And even if you did in the beginning, for one, you could have lost sight of it. For two, it could have changed, because that why actually changes constantly. It actually changes constantly, right? But the biggest thing is having that deeper purpose of why we're trying to accomplish what we're trying to accomplish. Okay, so and I'm not even saying this in the cliche way of like, oh, dude, I just got to do this for my family. Like, I just got to be the best version of me for my family, which that is fucking true. That is 100% true. But like, there's other things too. And there's other, like, I'll go over some of my client examples, right? One, like, say you own a business, say you're a business owner and you're afraid to go to social events that build your business, that are for networking, where you meet other people, or team events where you're building your team, or like all of those things that you have to do in order to continue growing your business. You're not even comfortable fucking going to those things, and you're missing out on those things because of how you feel, because of how you look, because of your confidence level, because of all of those things, right? You're missing out on those. That's a why. Or, you feel lost, even though you've built the life that you thought you dreamt of. You have the family, you have the career, you have the fucking truck, you have the house, you have the toys, you have all the shit, right? But you still feel lost, you still feel empty. Now, I'm not going to take away from God on that one. God will definitely help you there, but God also wants you to fucking work hard, right? And there's probably not too many people that say God and fucking in the same sentence, so I apologize if that bothered you. Not really, but I don't really care. But, you can have everything. And this is something, again, I'm going over like real life examples of things that have taken from my clients. You could have everything and still feel lost because you aren't achieving your full potential as a man. And subconsciously, you know that you have more in you. Subconsciously, you know that you're supposed to be doing more, that you're meant for more, that you're a fucking monster and you're just not operating at that level, right? It's so fucking important to have that. It's like, the vanity will take us a good amount of the way, because most of the time, when people say, I want to get in shape, they're not digging deep into their brain, into their soul, into their fucking stomach, ironically, into their fucking, like, their gut, in order to pull out why it is that we actually want to do this in the first place, right? Because most of the time it's like, oh, dude, I just don't feel good about myself. I want to look better. It's like a vanity metric that we start measuring from, of like, dude, if I could just lose 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 40 pounds, whatever the fuck it is, I would look so much better. That's what I'm going for. I just want to look better. I want to look better for summer, whatever. And that's usually what gets us started. Okay, that's usually why we go on these fitness journeys. And then along the way, if we stick to it, we come to learn that it was about so much more than just that, right? So much more than just that. And sorry, I just got a text and it threw my train of thought off. But anyways, the vanity will get us started. The vanity will carry us a good amount of the way, but not all of the way. Not even close to all of the way, right? And so what we have to do is tie our goal to a deeper purpose. And we have to figure out why, truly why we want to accomplish what it is that we're trying to accomplish, right? So like for me right now, like I was saying, I have no motivation. I have no motivation to do anything that I want to do on a day-to-day basis, and that's for me, that's pretty detrimental, because for me, I run my own business. I do everything. My income is tied to whether or not I do what I have to do or not, right? So obviously I have to do that. But for me, it's like I have to remember a lot of the times why. Because at this point, I'm decently successful. I guess if you asked most people what success looks like, right? If you're speaking financially, or superficially, I'm pretty successful. I'm decently successful. I don't like to call myself successful. I'm still a very long way off from where I want to be, but in all measurements, like I have achieved a good level of success in business so far, and we're continuing to grow. So a lot of the time it's like, well, why push harder? Why am I doing this? Why am I continuing to put myself in further uncomfortable positions and work harder and be more tired, even though I don't want to do any of this shit at all right now? Why? And I have to tie it back to the actual reasons why I'm doing this in the first place, which is, for one, like my family, 100% first and foremost. For me, the way that I look at things is like, my kids did not ask to be brought into this world. I chose to bring them into this world, and I made promises to provide the best life for them possible. Okay. And then I also made a promise to my daughter because my daughter had this phase where she would cry every single night when I'd have to go to work. Every fucking night. She would beg me to call in sick the next day because she didn't want me to go. She didn't want me to leave. And so I promised her, this is over a year ago now, I promised her that I would find a way to be home more. Right? But I knew I was already making multiple six figures at my job. So I knew that, yes, I have to figure out a way to be home more, but I also have to find a way to continue providing the lifestyle that I provide for them and more, right? Because we're never just going to stay at the same level. Like, we have to keep climbing, or at least that's how I am. I have to keep fucking climbing. And my kids deserve fucking everything. Like, my kids need to have everything, right? That's the way I feel about it. And so, for me, it's like on the days where I don't want to execute, I don't want to operate, it's like, dude, these are the reasons, right? Because I made those promises. My kids fucking deserve the world. My family deserves the world. Their mom deserves the world. Like, I have to continue to push. On top of that, like, there's other people that depend on me. My clients depend on me. My guys depend on me. There's people out there that fucking need me. They need me to help them change their lives, right? And that's why I'm on this earth. I genuinely believe that God put me on this earth and put me through all the things that I had to go through in life and continue to go through in life in order for me to be a vessel to help other men that need the help, right? Like, that is my fucking purpose. And so if I got caught up in like, oh, dude, like, it's just financial success, right? Like, that's why I'm doing this in the first place. Because a lot of times when we get into business, it's like, oh, dude, I just want to make a bunch of money. Okay, well, what about when you do make a bunch of money? Then fucking what, right? It's not enough. Because if that was the case at this point, I'm like, oh, cool, I'm sailing, bro. I'm smooth sailing. Cool, good to go. Like, I don't need to do shit. That's not it, dude. That's not it. And if I was only tied up to that, then I would probably fall off. I'd probably fail. I'd probably quit. But when I dig deep and I remember exactly what the fuck I'm supposed to be doing and why I'm doing it, I continue pushing. And like I was saying earlier, I'm disciplined. I am fucking disciplined. I can discipline myself into death if I wanted to. But if that discipline isn't tied to the real reason of why we're trying to accomplish what we're trying to accomplish, we're going to fall off either fucking way. Because at some point, I'm going to tie this back into your fitness, right? At some point, if you don't have a deep understanding of why it is that you're trying to do this, it doesn't make sense to continue being disciplined. It's not even fucking worth it. Like, let's say you want to get to 10% body fat. Okay, say you're 20% body fat right now, and you want to get to 10% body fat. For one, why? Why do you want to do that? I could guarantee you it's more than just you want to look good. It's more than just you want to be shredded. I promise you there's more in there. If you're 20% body fat and you want to go down to 10% body fat, of course it's because you want to look that way. But why? Why are you so uncomfortable right now that you want to get there? Why do you want to be that lean? Why do you want to be that jacked? Why do you want to do that? Right? So that, for one, that's number one. Okay. And two, if it was only the fact that you just want to be 10% body fat, you just like that number, you think it's cool, like having abs is cool, fucking 99% guarantee you ain't making it. You ain't going to make it, because what it's going to take you to get down to 10% body fat is so much work, so much consistency, so much dedication, so much uncomfortable. Like, at some point you're like, well, dude, I don't really care about looking like that bad. Like, I don't give a shit about being 10% body fat that bad, right? Like, I don't. So I'm just going to go ahead and go back to doing what I was doing. That's what fucking happens. That's why most people don't finish, is because they've only tied themselves to the surface level goal. Now, if you really got down to it where you're like, okay, I'm 20% body fat, I want to be 10%. Why? Well, for one, because I fucking hate myself right now. Every morning I wake up, I look in the mirror, and I'm a fucking disappointment to myself. I don't even want to look in the mirror. I'm tired of seeing it. I'm tired of the self-disrespect. I'm tired of fucking hating everything that I see every fucking day. I fucking hate that, right? There's that. Okay, also, I'm a dad. It's pathetic that I'm telling my kids that they need to be healthy, that they need to do all these things, while I'm not fucking doing them myself. It's ridiculous that I'm telling my kids that they should live up to their full potential, chase their dreams, do all this stuff, when I'm not fucking doing it. That's why, right? It's fucking ridiculous that I don't want to go out in public with my wife because of the way my fucking shirt fits my gut, right? That's why. It's like the deeper purpose. Also, you can be like, I need to show my kids what hard work and dedication for long periods of time looks like, what that results in. Okay? It's not just because you want to be 10% body fat and look shredded. If it is, good fucking luck. Good luck. Right? But what I'm getting at is that you have to find that deeper purpose of why. Because in this process, we're going to continue using this example, going from 20% to 10%. You can get a good chunk of the way just off of like, yeah, dude, I just want to look good. You get down to 15% body fat, which, hey, you know what? Most people look good at 15% body fat. Cool. You know, whatever. But you can get a good amount of the way off of your vanity metric, off of like, yeah, dude, I just want to look good for summer. Once you hit that point of like, fuck this shit, dude. Fuck this. I'm hungry as fuck. I'm tired as fuck. I'm working hard as fuck. Like, the progress is slow now. Why the fuck would I continue doing this shit when I can go out and have pizza and beer tonight? Right? If all you have is like, I just want to look cool and shredded, it ain't fucking, you're going to have that pizza and beer. But when you start reminding yourself like, bro, I have to show my kids what's possible. I have to be that guy that when I walk into the room with my wife, everybody's like, damn, that motherfucker, that's the guy. That's him. Like, I want to make my wife feel like her guy is the guy. I want my kids to know that their dad works harder than everybody fucking else. I want my kids to understand, you know, what hard work and dedication looks like, what that results in. You know, I want to feel good about myself when I look in the mirror. I want to be proud of myself knowing that even in the hardest fucking times, I stick to this shit. I want that shit. So when you pull that back out and you fucking shove it down into your soul again, you keep fucking moving, right? That's what keeps you going. And that's why everybody falls off, is because we forget. We forget that that's the fucking point. We forget that was the purpose in the beginning, right? And we're like, oh, dude, 10% body fat. Like, honestly, that just sounds fucking miserable at this point. Fuck that. Same thing with business. Like, oh, dude, like, this shit is so goddamn hard. Okay, 100,000 a month, $1 million a month. Like, dude, I'm cool at 20. You know, I'm cool at 30. Like, I'm good, dude. It's like, no, bro, it's not the fucking point. It's not the point. And that's why you aren't completing what it is that you want to complete. That's why you haven't established everything that you want to establish. You haven't finished your personal development journey that you started fucking 10 times at 10 years in a row. Is because you continue to lose sight of what it is, or you never developed that actual understanding and internalize what it is that you actually want out of this, right? That's the fucking problem. Okay. And so what, I guess, practical steps of what I'm going to tell you here and what I do for myself in my current situation is like, okay, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Sorry. So when you start thinking that you don't want to do this shit, like, dude, I'm not motivated today, I don't want to do it. You need to ask yourself, not what happens, not what happens if you continue going, not what happens if you don't continue going, but like, who and what suffers if I don't show up today? Who and what suffers if I don't continue to show up? Most of the time, it's not even you. Most of the time, it's not you. Most of the time, you're in the suffering. You're suffering for the result. But who's going to suffer if you continue showing up right now? Your wife, your kids, the people around you, your team at work, if you're a fucking leader, everybody else, everything else, your business, if you're a fucking business owner, everything around you suffers if you quit. Everything around you suffers if you don't continue to show up. So when you get to that point of not wanting to show up, of not wanting to do what the fuck it is that you got to do, ask yourself, who and what suffers? What falls if I slip? What falls if I fucking trip up right now and I decide to not show up and I don't continue going on? Who and what suffers? That's where you have to fucking internalize. That's what you have to understand. Like, when you place it on, like, that suffering is going to be on your kids, on your wife, on the people that depend on you, on your team. You can't not show up, bro. You can't not show up unless you just decide you're okay with letting them the fuck down, which, if that's the case, then you got far fucking bigger issues, right? But you have to think of it that way, and then you just continue showing up. You have to think of it that way. You have to understand the purpose in all of it, and then be like, fuck it, dude. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if I want to or not. Doesn't matter if I'm feeling disciplined or not. I just, like, this shit just has to get done. So it's getting fucking done. That's how you have to attack this shit. So that lack of purpose is why most people continue to fail. That's why most people don't actually achieve what it is they want to achieve, because they've never established it, or they forget it, or it doesn't develop along the road with them. That's a whole nother topic, but you have to have that deeper sense of purpose when it comes to your goals. You have to have that understanding of what happens to those around you, to those that depend on you, to everything that you've been working on and building. What happens to all of that if you don't show up, if you don't continue on, right? What example are you setting? Who all are you letting down? For one, you, but two, who else? Who else is watching you to see what you do? Like, what all is at stake here? Really? That's what you have to ask. That's what you have to fucking establish. Okay? Do the fucking work. You do the work, right? And you have to understand why you're doing the work. Even when it doesn't make sense, even when you don't want to, establish that. Ask yourself those questions. Figure out what the fuck it is, and then just continue executing over and over and over. Eventually, you will break free from that, like, lull of motivation, because the lack of motivation is the same thing as motivation. It's just part of the wave, right? We just ride these fucking waves. Neither of those things stay around forever, which is another thing we have to understand is, like, the motivation will never stay. The lack of motivation will never stay. We just ride that fucking wave. And no matter where we are on that wave, we execute. We do what has to be done day in and day out. That's it, man. That's fucking it. So I'm going to wrap up the video with that, you guys. I hope that this kind of provided some clarity, and some practical advice, It is, like I said, it's something that I struggle with. It's something that I'm currently struggling with. It's something that everybody fucking struggles with. Right? There's nothing wrong with you for feeling that way, for feeling this way. It's very, very normal to fall off during these times. Most people do. Most people fall off during these times. And you don't have to be one of them. You can actually accomplish what it is that you said you were going to accomplish. You can actually do everything that you set out to fucking do. You just have to figure out why that's important to you, and then continue executing. Make it fucking happen, dude. You deserve it. Your kids deserve it. Your family deserves it. Your team deserves it. You living up to your fullest potential will benefit everybody the fuck around you. Do not ever lose sight of that.